Hey everyone, and welcome to Order Up, the Final Order Cutoff show. This week we're going to be talking about books that are on Final Order Cutoff Monday, August 25th, and it is a crazy week with some incredible new series starting on FOC this Monday by some of the top writers in the industry. There's going to be first appearances, there's going to be incredible variants, and we're going to have an absolutely stunningly phenomenal top tier writer of a guest in the way of Tini Howard. So stay tuned after these messages.
Hi everyone, I'm Mathias Lewis, and I'm here to talk to you about FOC, or Final Order Cutoff. It is the last chance that we, the comic retailers, have to finalize our orders for comics releasing roughly 3 to 6 weeks out from the Mondays we finalize our orders. We deal with this every Monday, but this is important to you, the consumer, because it is the perfect time to reach out to your local comic shop if you want any specific or guaranteed items. If you want the Jim Lee or Dan Mora covers of Justice League Unlimited, reach out to your local comic shop and let us know. If you want the new issue of Lilo and Stitch, this is the perfect time to tell us. Because as long as you can get us the orders before Monday at 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, that will give your local comic shop retailer enough time to finalize that order, adding in whatever it is you want, so they can guarantee when it releases, we have a copy set aside waiting for you. So, always reach out to your local comic shop before 6 p.m. on Mondays with the comics you want. The sooner, the better, to guarantee they're waiting for you.
All right, and this Monday we are dealing with comics on Final Order Cutoff for August 25th. It is an impressive week. It's not the hugest week, but it is an impressive week, Kyle.
That was the thing I was going to say that I noticed the most this week, is that it's not necessarily the biggest in terms of number of books, but there are a lot of big creators with a lot of big things that we've been waiting for a while on this week's order.
So I want to remind everyone, if you guys are checking things out, the way to follow along at home before or after the show is if you are after Marvel, Dark Horse, IDW, Distillery, Kodansha, Square Enix, and the like, you're going to want to go to prhcomics.com, where you will see a website, much like we're about to show, and you can instantly on that front page see FOC right there, August 25th, 2025, order these titles. Now, when you click on that, you will be brought to a page like this. I always recommend sorting it from A to Z. I will never understand why it opens up randomization, but then you can see all of those comics that are coming from Penguin Random House to your local comic shop on FOC. Now, if you're a fan of DC, Image, Oni, and a lot of the other great publishers that you don't see on Penguin Random House, for that, you're going to want to go to lunardistribution.com, a website just like this. And from there, you can scroll down a small bit to upcoming FOC. Make sure you're on the right page, August 25th, 2025, for this week's FOC. And you can see all of those items. But I think we're going to start with PRH.
On Lunar, don't forget to check out that preview section that's just above FOC, where sometimes you get a few pages of something that you might not have otherwise known about. And you can check it out and be like, ooh, I like that art, or ooh, that looks interesting. So don't forget to check that section out too.
Indeed. But yes, I think we're going to start out with Penguin Random House for this week. Does that sound good by you, Kyle?
Good with me.
All right. Let's dive directly into it because there's so much to talk about. Now, we're always going to spotlight the key and upcoming and big new things, but I got to point out things like the continuing hardcover collection of Akira, which is classic, and Stephanie Phillips' amazing all new Ghost or Spider-Gwen, the Ghost Spider, that have just been great with a ton of amazing covers. But the first one that we're going to discuss is Amazing Spider-Man Torn. It is a new series by classic Spider-Man writer J. Michael Straczynski. However, it is not a modern Spider-Man series. It is going back to the college era of Peter Parker, when he was hanging out with Harry Osborn, when he was dating Gwen Stacy, and everything seemed right. But Straczynski is going to turn it around, introducing a new villain. Now, I had to show off this cover, as this is, I think, the first cover we've got to truly see of the upcoming Muppets-themed variants. Nothing beats an Amazing Fantasy 15 homage with Miss Piggy and Kermit. I mean, am I wrong, Kyle?
No. Yeah. Although, I'll be honest, that relationship's a little more abusive than Spider-Man and MJ or Spider-Man and Gwen. But, like, that's just because, I think Kermit's into it. But, no, there's nothing that beats the Muppets. If we had to okay, let's play the game. If we had to remake the first Amazing Spider-Man, we're talking Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man. Everybody gets replaced by Muppets except for one actor. Who do you keep?
Bruce Campbell.
Sold.
Yep, Bruce Campbell live action and a bunch of Muppets. I would watch that movie every day of the week.
Right, because Sam Eagle is J. Jonah Jameson.
Oh, that is good.
Mm-hmm.
Can we get the money together and approval from Disney to remake the Tobey Maguire Spider-Man with Muppets?
They just shut down Muppet Vision there at Disney, so I don't know that they're going to be into that, but we'll see.
Okay. I mean, well, clearly we have a theme of Muppet Marvel variants this month, so make sure you reach out to your local retailer. They've not been doing a good job in revealing those covers by FOC, but they have been FOCing over the past few weeks. So, reach out to your local retailer, see if they can still place an order for you. I mean, I love the Adam Hughes cover, but it is not the traditional expectation of an Adam Hughes cover. Nevertheless, Straczynski back on Spider-Man. It has my attention. So continuing on, we have a lot of great titles worth looking at, a lot of continuing series, a million beautiful covers on a lot of these Marvel books like Black Cat that are stunning. But I want to go really out of left field on this next one. I know it caught Kyle's attention as well. It is the comic book history of the cocktail. And that's an exciting one for me. Whether you're a big drinker or not, I love comic book history adaptions of really unique things, whether it's the history of cartoons, the history of beer, and now we get a history of the cocktail, which is going to go over centuries of drink mixology in a great comic book tale. Done by David Wondrich, who writes for the Daily Beast. He's an award-winning writer. You have Dean Kotz doing awesome artwork on there. And, of course, you'll have some drink recipes to walk away with, too.
There is no more drinking group than when you get a bunch of comics professionals together in a room. If we can get this book into the hands of the bartenders at Comics Pro, I think people may die. So again, the comic book history of the cocktail, the two things go so well together. I mean, you think about the history of comic book characters, Bruce Wayne has not had some problems. Tony Stark has not had some problems. Drinking and comics go together on every level. So putting them together to tell the story of the cocktail is just an interesting way to frame all of that.
Yeah, I mean, decades in this industry, I can't tell you how much of this industry develops around a drink at a bar after a convention or an event. And I know that there is a push to change that. And I definitely have a high respect for any sense of sobriety that people are putting together. But yeah.
Listen, you're talking to the guy who at Retailer Summit would order 7-Up and cranberry juice in a highball glass so people didn't feel weird about him not drinking.
Yeah.
So, believe me, there are mocktails at these things too. You just got to know where to look.
There it is. All right. So I'm going to dive directly into the next one that has my attention. That's also a little odd. Disney Princess Enchanted Worlds, Looking Inside the Spellbinding Kingdoms. Now, once again, this is that nice thing that thanks to Lunar and Penguin Random House now being distribution as opposed to just Diamond, we are getting a wider range of very interesting books that are available. So it's worth pointing them out on Final Order Cutoff because it's not something your local comic shop might likely stock, but they can if you request it. And this is a very interesting DK book that will give you the actual like cutaways of the various princess castles, 13 different detailed castles, buildings, and vehicles from Disney princess movies with all of the awesome like room divisions and explanations so you can find out just what was in the library over at the Beast's castle in Beauty and the Beast, or where Aurora kept her slippers, and all these interesting concepts. I think it's a fun one, and whether it's for you or not, there's likely someone you know who would appreciate a Disney cutaway book from DK, and the idea that you can get that from your local comic shop is a fun one.
Okay, they opened the Bibbidi Bobbidi Boutique up to old guys. Which princess are you getting dressed up as, buddy?
What princess am I getting dressed up as?
Uh-huh.
Wow.
I know the answer.
I want the hair back.
You have long hair. I do not. I'm going Snow White just so I can take a nap. Or Sleeping Beauty.
When you want to go Sleeping Beauty, yeah, I was about to say.
Either one, really. They both take naps.
You're making a lot of meals for a lot of short men.
They both take naps.
So that was by far the most interesting question I think I've ever been asked in my life, let alone in the comics book field. Daredevil 25, getting a really great FOC with some amazing covers. I really want to point out the beautiful covers on the Death of Silver Surfer's penultimate issue number 4 of the 5-issue miniseries. All just stunning covers. Marvel knows how to. I mean, we're in a grand era of variants. Well, we're both in an era where there's way too many variants, and so many variants just feel like file cabinet style pinups. We're also in an era of just phenomenal cover art and variants across the board from all these publishers. So I am really having fun pointing these out. I mean, it's an interesting time. Also, on the note of wonderful things, you can grab through PRH's FOC from your local comic shop. Out of Print is a really great publisher of paraphernalia for book fans. Little book bags, bookmarks, merchandise, T-shirts. So always fun to keep an eye out on when they have great things on FOC. But the next big one I really want to talk about will require a bit of a trailer. Re-FOC this week because of a PRH glitch is Distillery's newest hit from Stephanie Phillips, Endeavor. Now, if you're not familiar with the HMS Endeavor, it was the classic ship captained by James Cook that helped bring the English to Australia and New Zealand. There is a lot of legendary lore behind it that is both positive and negative. And Stephanie Phillips points to the idea that there is a rebuilt version of the Endeavor, unlike the one that sunk off the coast of Rhode Island, in Australia. And what happens when a group of kids get on this ship and basically end up in a battle royale, Lord of the Flies scenario, Lost at Sea? And for that, Kyle, can we bring up the trailer really quick?
Let's look at the
I suddenly have a very lonely dog. The trailer scared him. But yeah, no, Endeavor looks amazing, and it is amazing. Actually, I can tell you, having read the first 2 issues, this is phenomenal. It has the character development of the Battle Royale manga, which, if you've never read, thankfully is about to get republished in America for the first time in decades. But you care about every one of these kids, their backstory, and it is just encapsulating and amazingly just pulls at your heartstrings, has you on the edge of your seat interested, much like Lord of the Flies or any of these classic things that pits children in a survival story while also not necessarily being a group of friends who intend to survive together. One of the things I will also add that I really love about it, it is filled with historical facts about the HMS Endeavour and the history of, Australia, New Zealand, and England with that. It has nautical facts and incredible nautical quotes from a bunch of different nautical scripts and songs. It even, references classic children's. I mean, everything about this is just packed to the brim with amazing stuff. $8.99, you're getting an incredibly thick 48-page story. Well worth your time, well worth giving a shot. Reach out to your local retailer and express your interest in Endeavor. So, I don't know. Did it sell you, Kyle? Are you intrigued by Endeavor?
I'm intrigued by Stephanie Phillips writing it.
Yeah.
Like, sell me a little harder. Like, one of my favorite writers writing a book about a ship lost at sea, staffed by kids, with no adults. It's going to be wild.
Yeah,
and Stephanie Phillips is one of my favorite writers, so it's going to be a good time.
Super talented writer, one of the best writers in the industry right now, and also one of the most prolific. I swear, you cannot blink at an FOC without seeing a half dozen Stephanie Phillips comics.
So, real quick, Unknowns asks, PRH and Lunar is just for retail store use when it comes to purchasing stuff, correct? And customers can just use it for reference purposes. That is correct.
Yeah.
You can use both of these sites just like we're using them today. We're using the consumer-facing sides of these sites today to get information, to find stuff you like, and then call your local comic shop. And if you don't have a local comic shop, contact one of the shops from the experience, and you can place these orders.
Indeed, yeah. I mean, always that's the advantage is you want to reach out to your local comic shop. There are wonderful comic shop locators online. We will do our best to post those as we can. But the really nice thing is there are a lot of options out there from League of Comic Geeks onward that will give you lists of items on releases, FOC. But the problem with most of them is they can't all manage everything. Using the distributor websites, you are getting the direct source of information from the people who ship these comics to your local comic shop. So they're the people your local comic shop are getting their comics from. They know when they're shipping your local comic shop these items. They know what items they're shipping. So these are going to be some of the best sources for this information. Now, have you seen these covers for Godzilla Destroys the Marvel Universe #3? They're all, I don't know how one of these didn't end up in our top 10. I mean, I know because I crafted it, but they are all amazing. From, the incredible Watcher or Dave Watcher cover, which has Godzilla in an Iron Man armor, and I don't want to know how he got in that armor, to the ever so brilliant Ji Hyung Lee, which looks like it could be a movie poster. But man, this Mark Brooks cover, it just has everything. Has it all. X-Men and Godzilla. Absolutely amazing. Gary Dugan.
I love the homage that they're doing with the Godzilla Kills the Marvel Universe to the original Punisher Kills the Marvel Universe, where the trade dress is very similar in style.
Oh yes, you're right. It is.
That old school original one.
Yeah, before Deadpool broke the font setup. Yeah. So, again, so many amazing things on FOC. The Great British Bump Off, Killer Bee Quilt. If you haven't read The Great British Bump Off, it is a fun murder mystery in the style of your favorite cooking. What are those shows called? Cooking competition shows? Bake-off shows?
British Bake-Off, but with a murder.
Yeah. Which, I mean, is particularly British, let's be honest.
It's true.
Want to point out, of course, Ichi the Killer, classic manga and film, finally getting an English translation with a good physical form from Hideo Yamamoto. Volume 2 on FOC right now with this Monday. Another big one I got to point out is Jeff the Landshark. A, because he's the cutest thing ever. He's blowing up because of Marvel Rivals, a video game that has over 40 million downloads. Take that into consideration. 40 million downloads on this Marvel video game. I mean, I would kill to see comics sell at a fraction of that. But 40 million downloads. Jeff the Landshark's getting in front of some people. But when you say that Marvel Rivals has 40 million downloads, one of the things I have to point out, aside from Jeff just being a cute book that you can hand to kids, you can hand to teenagers, you can hand to adults. Everyone can love Jeff the Landshark, and there's a lot of great ones, and he's a known character. One of the other known characters that's getting really popular thanks to Marvel Rivals is Luna Snow. So with the upcoming swimsuit skins on Marvel Rivals getting special variants, I think there's going to be a high demand for this Luna Snow variant. Expect it, that to fly off the shelves. So comic shop retailers, if you're ordering this, might be worth ordering a few more than you normally do of Jeff the Landshark. Fans of Marvel Rivals, of Luna Snow, of just great covers by the incredible Toki Tokoro. Actually, I would say I'm incorrect. Toki Tokoro did the other Luna Snow cover. This one, the art is unattributed to employees of NetEase Games. But one way or another, if you want this cover, let your local comic shop know, because this is going to sell out. This is going to be a sellout cover.
Jeff being an all-ages book and having a bikini-clad woman on the cover is a little bit incongruous for me.
Yeah.
But I still don't get Jeff, so maybe it makes sense. I don't know.
I mean, but that being, first off, Jeff just surrounds himself with, wonderful women, from Hawkeye to Gwenpool and more. But don't worry, there's also an all ages acceptable cover, the one that I was thinking of by Toki Tokoro, of Luna and Jeff singing, which is what everyone wants to hear. A cute little land shark singing.
I think Jeff the Landshark may be the, hey, you kids, get off my lawn moment for me. We'll figure it out.
Yeah. You're not going to set up karaoke for Jeff the Landshark?
No.
All right.
Well, unless his check clears.
There it is, yeah. So another big one. We actually had the honor of interviewing Zach Kaplan a while back. Kyle, did we have that interview accessible on the EXP's YouTube channel?
We do not at the moment, but it is on its way to being reprocessed to go up.
Okay, so you will be able to rewatch the incredible interview with Zach Kaplan as he talks about not only his vast array of amazing comics, but the new Kill All Immortals Volume 2. Kill All Immortals Volume 2 deals with an immortal family of Viking Scandinavian warriors who have become the billionaire secret rulers of the world.
The original the original episode is still available. I just double checked to make sure it was still there. It says Zach Kaplan. Go to the EXP, search Zach Kaplan, and it'll pop right up.
Yeah, so you can definitely watch that, and then we'll hopefully pull away the specific interview as a single video file, so everyone has access and can enjoy that. But yeah, so Kill All Immortals, sequel to the original. You once again have the incredible Fiko Osio returning to artwork as a less than young immortal woman, daughter of the Viking who discovered this immortality, now deals with a bigger threat than her family. You don't need to read the original volume, though I stress you should, to enjoy Kill All Immortals Volume 2. It is awesome. Zach Kaplan is a brilliant writer with this stuff. Once again, Fiko's artwork, amazing. This is going to be a huge one.
Yeah, Eric the Red's daughter Freya is on a tear, man, and you do not want to miss it.
Yeah. I mean, and there will be blood.
Lots of it.
Yeah. Some great covers available on it. I love the Tuolote and the John Jang. All of them amazing. So, another one, a big one from Boom, we're going to have to talk about is Marian Heretic. But we will talk about it in a few minutes when we have our awesome guest, Tini Howard. So I just want to point out, for those of you guys following along at home at prhcomics.com, you can find all of the incredible covers, and they are incredible, right here under M for Marian Heretic. And we'll talk about this to great extent momentarily. But we have to give some of the other comics a little bit of credit, you know. And with that, a great one shot for you Motu fans and collectors with the Masters of the Universe He-Man movie coming out, I want to say early next year. The Motu vibe is high. So Masters of the Universe is getting a one shot focusing on Lieutenant Andra. This is particularly the Revelations version of Lieutenant Andra, which I thought was personally great in the cartoon. So I'm all for getting more story on. But Tiffany Smith writing it, Adriana Mello doing artwork. If you enjoyed this character in Revelations, I think this is a book you'll really enjoy. If you're a must-all collector of Masters of the Universe, this is a great book to grab.
Yeah, for me, it's the Skylar Patridge cover.
Yes, the Skylar Patridge one is amazing. For me, I got to say it's the Nate Barich cover. I don't know what it is, but I guess when I think of anything Masters of the Universe, I'm thinking, what toys am I going to buy? And I want that Shark Ski-Doo.
Yep. Sold.
Shark Ski-Doo, you know, like there is a part of me that is still an adult that will fill up a bathtub to just throw, you know, floating water toys in there and then realize I'm an adult. What am I doing? This is a waste of water. But we can lie to ourselves. A lot of great books on it. I mean, a lot of big books, a lot of continuing titles, all worth paying attention to on here. But one that deserves a lot of attention. We're still waiting on the very first book from the new publisher, Ignition Comics. We've FOC'd a few, and I can tell you the quality is there, having seen some of this earlier at San Diego Comic-Con. But a huge one comes from another top-tier writer in the way of Stephanie Williams, and this is Roots of Madness. Roots of Madness, I want to make sure I get this right, deals with a very well-known female scientist developing new and interesting things with that classic drama. I don't even know how best to describe this. Yeah, it's like, having read this issue already, I'm trying so hard not to just spoil things.
Yeah, no, so because I haven't read it, I think I could probably do it. If you take actual historic figures that you actually know about and you dramatize their lives and maybe throw it a little bit into the future, you get what this book is from Stephanie Phillips. So it's a great opportunity to sort of have a fictionalized version of history, as it were.
Yes, it is based a fictionalized version of Madam C.J. Walker, you know, a famous African American scientist. So you're going to get a lot of interesting drama there, and it's just hard not to spoil things. But I mean, that's, I think, always the best thing to say is, like, when it's hard not to spoil a book, that means it's an exciting book to read. So definitely a fun one. So Ignition Press, a lot of great stuff there. One last one I want to talk about before we go to our guests, and then we'll return to PRH. For those of you guys who came out of Thunderbolts, as it is now getting on Disney Plus, you guys can all enjoy the awesomeness that is the Sentry. And when you realize you want more of this character, this omnibus that's on FOC this week is going to be the omnibus you want to buy, with two amazing covers, a David Finch cover, and then the direct market exclusive by Dave Bullock. This Sentry omnibus has it all. It has the original Paul Jenkins Sentry miniseries. It has the New Avengers contents by Brian Michael Bendis. And then it has all of the subsequent series. You can see you get all of the various one-shot crossovers in there. You're going to get the Age of Sentry miniseries, the Fallen Sun. You're going to get the 2018 and the 2024 Sentry. I mean, it's basically everything Sentry. So if you loved that awesome scene where the Sentry takes everyone on in the Thunderbolts movie, and you needed more because we did not get enough Sentry in that movie, this is the graphic novel. Now,
I want more void. That's all I'm gonna say.
definitely. But you know what I really want? I want to talk about Marian Heretic. So can we throw a trailer up for everyone?
Sister Marian, thou art a heretic. Come out of hiding, think I'm the beast you know you are. Come out of hiding, take your throne among the stars.
Talk about an amazing trailer, right? And then, without any further ado, we have the amazing guest, author of everything from Excalibur, Catwoman, Punchline, Harley Quinn, Assassinistas, Magdalena, Rick and Morty, and more, Tini Howard.
Hello. Hi, Mathias. Hi, everyone.
Hi, Tini. It is an honor to host you. You have written some of the best comics of the last, decade. And Marian, I think, might be the thing that finally dethrones Something Is Killing the Children as the top new Boom title. Like, this looks unbelievable.
I mean, they're 100 issues. I wish, right? Like, I would never wish to dethrone my good friends over at Tiny Onion and all that. But I mean, if I could, that kind of success would be an honor, right? And we hope for it. And I think you might be right. I think we might really be onto something with this one. I'm Tini, if you guys don't know me. My upcoming book is called Marian Heretic from Boom Studios with the amazing Joe Jarrow. Walter Baiamonte's doing our covers, and goth icon Jim Campbell's doing our letters. That cover there is by Dylan Burnett, the one you guys are seeing right now. It's so cool. One of my favorite things about this book is that people are really responding to like the aesthetic and Joe's design. And so I've had like friends draw fan art. We've seen dozens of these upcoming really cool covers by just top artists. People really want to see Marian and draw Marian, which is how I've been feeling for the past like 2 years. She's I'm obsessed with her, so I'm glad other people seem to be too.
So, for people not yet familiar, though I'm sure that trailer captured their attention, can you give us the pitch on Marian Heretic?
Yeah. Oh, that trailer, by the way, didn't appear out of the ether on its own. My off co-writer that I also happen to be married to, Blake Howard, did that incredible trailer for us. He also did the one for Matt Rosenberg's upcoming book. It's super cool though, right? Like, I think comics trailers are a great way to get attention. So Marian Heretic, the very easy sell of it is Marian is a nun who hunts witches for a church called the Holy Father Church that runs a sort of theocratic city called the City of Vespers. And one night she hunts the witches because she has an agreement with the church to let her and her order live because they are heretical, and they'll get to live if they hunt witches for the church. But our story begins. Marian's been doing this, but our story begins when one night one of the witches suggests to her that maybe her heretical order are closer to being witches than they are a heretical order of the church, and that maybe there's a whole world that would welcome Marian and her order instead of subjugating them as an embarrassment and forcing them to hunt. So the story follows Sister Marian as she steps into a world that is both terrifying and liberating for her. It's very much one of those stories of a character kind of walking a middle line and not sure which way they're going to turn. Because, you know, it's a book about religion and belief. And so what's on the line is her immortal soul.
Yeah. And I mean, I love that we're in this era of great content showing badass women, you know, in an era of witches that kind of fights the misogynistic aspects of this. And I mean, this does a great job of just showing these horrible men in power and this absolutely amazing woman trying to come to grips with that and figure out how to press back.
Oh, so yeah, we have fun with like dancing around that in the book. You know, being pretty explicit with it. Like for everyone, you know, everyone has had to live and survive at some point in their lives, even if it was just being a teenager in your parents' house. Like we've almost all had to live in a situation where we felt like our expression was limited and control over us was great. That's a very human thing, but we absolutely don't shy away from using it to, you know, satisfyingly explore some of, you know, the gender politics at play in religion. I mean, the reason that Marian hunts witches and the rest of the church doesn't is because Marian's a woman. She can get closer to them. So her, like, the entire agreement she makes in order to keep these women that she loves very much, her order of sisters, alive, she promises to hunt other women. I mean, that's not a foreign thought to, you know, to most of us in a lot of stories, right? Like that's, you know, she's doing stuff she doesn't like to save stuff she does, and that's a savior in a lot of ways, right? But yeah, we're playing with that, and it's also fun to play with that also because I'm like a 90s girl. I've got, you know, so much love for like the Gothic aesthetic and all that. And, you know, I'm queer. I love beautiful women. So it's been really fun to like make a book where I feel totally untethered in all these ways, where I'm like, you know, I'm welcoming in classic fans with like good classic goth comics. And I'm also like, but like, what if we thought a little bit about theology and philosophy while we were here? A little bit of veggies blended into your spaghetti.
Yeah. But this isn't your first time actually dealing with a badass woman in the church. You did an incredible run of Magdalena with Ryan Caddy. How would you say this differs from that awesome storyline?
So that was a big, not consideration, but something that I really did think about after I was, you know, dreaming up Marian. And you know, I made my name in a lot of ways on the idea of Magdalena, who is kind of the, you know, who you think of when you think of like a badass 90s nun character in comics. But like, thankfully I know Magdalena really well. I know Patience really well. So to me, it was like easy to not do that, because if I was writing that story, it would be Patience and I would be pitching it to Top Cow and I would be like, hey guys, let me write Magdalena again because I have this story about Patience. Marian her backstory is so much different from Patience. Like Patience is a nun who was raised in the church. Marian is not. We learn pretty early on, maybe around issue 2, we start learning that Marian is, you know, like most women, she had a life before we knew her. And we start learning a little more about what that life was and who she really is. And it's very different from the story of someone like Patience, who was raised in the church and is, you know, an agent of the church and is, you know, her differences with the church comes from a place of exploration and discovery, whereas Marian is offered a way out and knows that way out is another form of heresy, but that she's made her name on heresy and she, you know, she wears it like a brand. So the big difference is that this is a story of where Marian starts as a nun working for the church, and then we're going to see how things change for her really, really quickly. Whereas, you know, Patience is a different character. She was raised in this faith. Marian came to faith. She chose faith, or she feels like it chose her, and we're going to see those miracles in the book and learn that, you know, she wasn't born praying in a habit, she's a sinner.
Yeah. I mean, and the book is amazing because, well, we could talk so much about a lot of the concepts in throughout. It still has high action. It has sexy artwork. Joe has just brought some amazing stuff to the pages there.
Can I talk about Joe?
Yeah.
So Joe Jaro we came together because my friend Casey Gilly, who is the writer of a bunch of amazing books like Sleepy Hollow, that's coming out soon, and all those, she wrote Buffy the Last Vampire Slayer. Her and I are both big horror girlies. And she'd written Buffy the Last Vampire Slayer, and Joe was her artist on that. And while she was writing that, she was sending me Joe's art, like just pencils, like, oh my God, look at this guy that's drawing my Buffy book. And we were both like, this guy draws women. Like, he really puts thought into how everyone looks different, has different weights, different face shapes. It's not just a bunch of copy paste beautiful women. And we were both really, really impressed by that. We were just like, wow, this guy really draws women thoughtfully. That's super cool. And his art in Buffy the Last Vampire Slayer was great. And so Casey put us in touch, and I was like, hey, Joe, so first of all, let me send you the pitch for the doc and tell me what you think, which was very much something I learned from like Jonathan when I was working on X-Men stuff. Was like the first email he ever sent me about it was like, read it, and if you hate it, tell me, because I don't want you to say, oh, okay, like, tell me if you hate it. So, and this is, this book has got a lot of controversy in it, right? So like, I didn't want to send it to an artist and be like, would you like to read this? And they would be like, I'm actually deeply religious and super offended by this. I would have been like, okay, totally fine. Like, you and I are different. That's fine. But no, Joe was like, he read it and he sent back a sketch, and it like made my heart stop. I was like, that's her. Like, he nailed it in one. He read the info and was like, I get it. I know this girl. Is this her? And it was like the scene in the movie where like the victim like describes the criminal, and the person turns the sketch around and they're like, is this him? That's him. Like, that was that. I was like, that's her. That's Marian. And since then, it's like, I feel like Joe is just really leveled up because, Buffy Last Vampire Slayer is a great book, and you guys should read it if you haven't. It's super cool. But the themes and the art style were different. And so in Marian, it's been a lot of like Joe getting to flex those muscles, like you said, of drawing really sexy art, really bloody art, really, there are panels where there's violence, and I'm just like, make this gross, like make us feel gross, or like, make this cool. Like, and he just nails it every time. He's turning in he pages and covers and everyone. I'm just like in shock at how good he is at building this world. You guys are going to love Joe's art. Her design is already iconic, and that's all him. All the covers are iconic. I cannot wait to see. I've been seeing all the like art of all the variants come in, and I have that thought of like, I can't wait, like that. Oh my God, that Jenny Fristen one kills me. I can't wait for people to bring me these.
Your Substack on that cover.
Oh, that was what we've been calling internally. We've been calling this cover Our Lady of Kicking Ass. Yeah. Because it's like, that's just such a perfect depiction of like a, saintly figure, a holy mother of Marian. But yeah, she is truly Our Lady of Kicking Ass.
Yeah, no, Jenny Fristen did a great job.
She's incredible. She's been covers on my books since I was at DC, and I'm always grateful to see her art pop up.
So on that note, I mean, I hate to keep making this comparison, but the reason I want to do this is because Something is Killing the Children had over 10 printings. People, no matter how big you ordered, slept on it and didn't order enough for it to go to 10 printings.
That is not an unflattering comparison, by the way. Again, love that book, love those guys.
But I want to compare it in that, just like it, when I got to open and read the first issue of Marian Heretic, instantaneously it develops a universe of characters and concepts right off the bat. That, well, this seems to anyone at a glance like this could be the Catholic Church. It is so much more. It is such a unique concept. There are characters you instantly want to know more about. Obviously you care about Marian and you want to follow her story. But even, the leaders of the church all have their own unique and interesting personalities you want to know more about. So is Marian a mini-series? Is this an ongoing? What are the plans for the series?
Well, like everything in comics right now, our plans are to go as long as the book sells. If we're not writing it with with a strong ending. I'm working on issue 5 now. We want to just keep going more and more, but I definitely one thing I thought of when I developed Marian was I was like, look, I want to make this a book that has room for a certain amount of power scaling. So like this is definitely a book that was developed. First of all, like thank you for saying that about all the characters. That's on purpose. I'm not a big world builder just to world build, but I do really love solidly building out the parts of my story that are load bearing, that are going to be there, and then leaving myself room later to develop more. So, if we get, knock wood, if we get to be Something is Killing the Children and we get 100 issues, then Marian Heretic, War on Heaven, sure. We're, I've got plans, and part of the built-in magic of that is we're writing a holy war, and right now it's just one city, right? We've got a lot of room to expand. There's a whole world of the witches that we barely get into in this first arc, but there's lots there. Like you said, it's built to last. It's built to be played in. It's built for as many issues as we can. And I'm glad that you had that reaction opening, because that's what we wanted. I wanted people to open it and be like, I'm a big video gamer. I love playing video games. And part of it is because they're kind of my end of the day. Like I'm done with my work wind down. And because for me, it's like I'm playing another Cyberpunk 2077 game right now, right? I've played it before. I'm playing it again because I wanted to play a different character. And for me, it's like at the end of the night, I just get to drop in, and I'm in a totally different world, and that's me, and I can explore that. And that's how I want people to feel about Marian. Drop in, ride around on her shoulder, and let her world be your world, and her struggles be your struggles, and her power be your power.
Yeah. And I mean, this issue was built to hook you. Whether you intended it or not, it was built to hook you, because I love to hate the Hierophants. I can't wait to discover more about the main witch that Marian interacts with. So, can you tell us a little bit more about the world around Marian to get everyone intrigued?
So yeah, the city of Vespers is developed on purpose because I love cities. I love a location that is a character, right? I loved writing in Gotham. I loved writing in Krakoa, very much because I knew, and I know when I sit down and I'm writing in those cities, I know where I am. And I know them the way I know a character, where I feel like if I need to turn a corner and I need to have something new there that hasn't been there, I can put it there. Like I put a gay bar in Gotham City because there wasn't one there. And because it served the story, I needed a place for the characters to meet that Black Mask would never find them. Perfect, but it didn't feel like I was breaking ground and establishing something. It felt to me like the characters are we need to go somewhere, and they would turn the corner, and there it was, because it was already part of it. So the city of Vespers is an extension of that. I described it as kind of like a Gothic Vatican before. It's also definitely got a churchy Gotham feel. It is it's also very inspired by specifically the way that they shot the city in the film version of The Crow, because The Crow as a book is very Detroit, right? But the film was shot all on a soundstage in North Carolina, but it's this, huge haunting city. And as a result, it feels kind of small and boxed in. And I loved that. And it was also inspired by the way I love that there are parks in big cities like New York and London. There are just these small fenced, copsed areas where there's small amounts of trees. And I spend a lot of time in cities because I travel a lot for work. So the world around Marian is this living, breathing city that has a religious fire burning through it. It's not just, a bunch of children being led by a naughty schoolmaster. This is a city of people who have faith. and they have faith in the church that rules them. And some of them see Marian as a victor against the corruptions in the church, and some people see Marian as a heretic and a disturber who probably should be killed. That city is also very much Marian's home, and we see that her and her sisters in the Order of the Marian Heresy have they have their own safe locations within the city, and we try to do a lot with like color and tone and stuff to make it clear. Like Walter, our colorist, is so awesome. There are 2 occasions where I've had to been like, hey, Walter, this whole scene is great, but the mood is just slightly wrong, which is such an annoying writer thing to say. And both times he'd be like, okay, cool, and like nailed it in one. And it was never just me being like, it's always me being like, so this scene needs to feel like a harsh, bright sanctuary from the dark, miserable world outside, like things like that. And we're able to do a lot of that. But I love the city of Vespers. I've always wanted to create a dark, spooky, gothic city to play in, and it being like a theocracy where the cardinals are in charge and the crusaders and the gendarmes we see are the authority. I think it adds a certain amount of narrative fun, and no doubt, if you're like me and you're someone who may have felt scared of or persecuted by religion in the past, it's a scary place to think about living.
Yeah. I mean, I cannot stress it enough. I am already 100% in on this universe. I cannot wait to do more. I wish I could just talk to you about everything, every single character, every single costume, and all of that. But not everyone has had the chance to read it.
I know. Have me back for the trade. We'll talk about all of it.
There it is, yeah. But the cool thing is, once everyone FOCs this and then gets the book, in a few short weeks, on September 15th, these same customers can FOC the new Zdarsky comic news that you appear on the cover of.
That's right. If you want to read a big conversation about Marian, that's definitely going to be a good place to do it. Chip is a dear friend of mine. Look at that likeness he did of me. I have never looked that good in my life. Like, can I put that on my driver's license? It kills me that this cannot now be the only image of me that people ever see, because she looks great. I just need to like cut the mouth out and like talk behind it. But yes, you'll be able to check out Chip and I's conversation. We'll be talking about Marian Heretic. And if you're not already reading ZCN, it's such a good bit of comics community. You know, it really reminds me of like the kind of fun we used to have back on like 2015 Twitter.
No, I absolutely love it, and I'm looking forward to reading your review. So that issue of Zdarsky Comic News will come out a week after Marian Heretic #1 comes out. So that will be October 15th release, I believe.
Yeah, so that's where I'll be able to. That's probably one of the first places you guys will be able to see me chatting about it after it's been out.
Yeah, but really quickly on a dead opposite thing. Also, finalizing orders on FOC of September 15th, you have a very great trade paperback for just $10, which is the price anyone can afford if they've ever enjoyed anything Rick and Morty. I guarantee you paid more for a McDonald's sauce packet of Rick and Morty than you will for this.
Yeah, you paid more for a Funko Pop than you did these great books. Go get a book.
The Unkillable Collection. Can you tell us a little bit about your time? Because you've written a lot of Rick and Morty.
Yeah. So one of the cool things about Rick and Morty comics is they're always like putting them in new cool formats. So I don't know what of mine is in that one. But yeah, okay. So when I worked on Rick and Morty, the first thing I did was a series called Pocket Like He Stole It, which I got because I basically was working on maybe trying to do a creator-owned series with one of the editors, and we just weren't quite finding anything we both really wanted to do. And then I happened to just go to the comic store and pick up and read the first 2 volumes of the Rick and Morty comics. And I was like, these are so funny. And then I saw the editor was the same editor I'd been talking to. And I was like, what if I just pitch this? And she let me, and it became Pocket Like He Stole It, which was about the Pocket Morty's game, which was really fun. And that's like a 5 or 6 issue mini. Let's see what Let the Rick one in, which was the 2-part story I did with Kyle Starks, which Kyle, who's done so much Rick and Morty, asked me to write with him because it was about vampires. And as you might be able to see from the wall behind me, I like vampires a little bit. So I wrote that with him. What else have I done? I did a Unity story. I did a very special issue of Rick and Morty 33, which is summer. It's called One Experimental Summer, and she goes to a world where she's really happy and everything seems normal and her family's not dysfunctional, and she learns she has a girlfriend. And there's a very sweet, very meaningful message from Rick. He's a jerk. I love him. So yeah, I've written a lot for Rick and Morty. It looks like in there is the thing that I worked on, was the Let the Rick one in 1 and 2, which is really fun. A really fun Kyle Stark story with me, and it is absolutely chock full of stupid vampire pop culture references. So if you want to go read a bunch of stupid jokes about Blade and Vampire the Masquerade and Lestat and all that, they're there. That's where Kyle let me get all that out of my system.
And over 12 issues for $10, a great offering from Oni on there.
Like, yeah, and these are like funny comics. Like I said, like I pitched them originally because I just grabbed them at the store as someone who was like waiting between, back then it was like between seasons 2 and 3 of Rick and Morty or something like that. And I was just like, I'm like, I need more of this funny stuff. And so I grabbed the comics and didn't even realize until I read them that I was like, oh my God, these are all, licensed, written by different people. They're great. Like, they're funny. Like, I've had a lot of people be like, oh, is it just the same stuff from the show? No, it's like inspired by that, a bunch of even more indie weirdos being weird. We're even weirder and funnier in the comics than they can be on the show. Like, I think.
Yeah. And then the best thing, that one doesn't FOC until September 15th. It will release on the same day as Marian Heretic, October 8th.
All right, double dip.
Yeah, so you can grab both if you really love Tini, or if you want something lighter, goofy, and adult swimmy, Rick and Morty. I still think, like Marian could be that darker Adult Swim. It is the Moral Oral meets Magdalena, but
no doubt one of my top comparisons to Marian, and one of the things I cite as a massive inspiration, both the original stuff, but then also the modern show, is Castlevania.
Ooh,
like very much that feeling of like, this is meant to feel like intense and cool and scary, but for like adults, but also doesn't take itself too seriously because we realize it's a comic, and we're having some fun here. It's my cat in my lap. But yeah, Castlevania, Bayonetta is a big inspiration on me. Just things that use these cool looking like trappings and stuff to create new characters and new stories. I grew up Catholic. I identify like a lot of people as a recovering Catholic. So, but a lot of us still really love that aesthetic, and we have a lot of memories and emotions tied to some of those stories. And then if you're me and you're almost 40 and you start reading 4th century Arabic pre-Christian theology, you get like really into it.
Yeah. Now this is going to be an exciting one. So really quick before we let you go, can you give us one last big pitch? You're right there behind the register. A customer is coming in. What is your quick pitch?
Oh, this is good too, because I used to work at a shop. So pretending I'm at the register and trying to get someone to sell a book is something I've done a lot of. Here, wait, let me put on my customer service voice. Oh, you're getting some good stuff. Have you checked out Marian Heretic? It's brand new, just came out this week from Boom Studios. It's super cool if you like Castlevania, Bayonetta. It's about a nun who hunts witches for a church, and then the witches kind of approach her and are like, maybe you're a witch too. Super cool. Check it out. Blood, guts, boobs, nuns, all my favorite stuff. I recommend pairing it with 9 Inch Nails, The Downward Spiral, and your favorite coffee drink.
I love that. I need a shirt that says blood, guts, boobs, nuns.
Me too. That's the Marian shirt we make.
All right. So for everyone that is absolutely adoring everything that Tini says, whether you are fans of her classic work or you're all excited about October, where can we track you down online? Where can they sign up for your Substack?
Lovely question. You can sign up for my Substack at Tini Howard, just like my name, all one word, at substack.com. It's called the Scorpio Room. I do updates. I sometimes post really stupid essays about movies that make me really mad, like Megalopolis or Argyle was one I did recently. And you can follow me on Instagram. I'm also just at Tini Howard. Those are the only two places I am online. So if you like to look at pictures, Instagram. If you like to instead read, as some of us do, you'll want to check out my Substack, where there's lots to read there. But yeah, check me out either of those places, or you can come see me at New York Comic Con. I'll be there. I'll probably be at the Boom booth a lot, selling Marian, because it'll be out that week. And we'll probably have some cool special New York stuff for Marian fans. So.
Yeah, I think I've already seen Greg from Boom in the comments talking about the upcoming New York Comic Con items. And I also want to point out, he did mention the amazing variant that you saw that with the stained glass window is going to be red spot foil. So that is going to be a very cool treatment.
That's going to be gorgeous.
We here at The Experience are going to hold Greg to making a Blood, Guts, Boobs, Nuns shirt for New York Comic Con.
I need it like this font, like the same font as my Interview with the Vampire shirt. Like I need it in like Gothic, but it has to be black. Me and the Marian fans, look at Mathias. We wear black.
There it is. I like that. That is the shirts that we will be wearing when we bring you back for the trade paperback.
Perfect. I'll get them silk screen myself if I have to.
All right. Well, thank you so much for joining us, Tini. It is an absolute honor. Again, you have written some of the best comics of the last decade, and the future is very bright with Marian Heretic.
Thank you guys so much. I really appreciate the kind words about the book. What seemed like honest praise, and the chance to get and talk to people like this. You guys know how it is. Comics fans know how it is. If you love something, you got to support it or it flies away. So the ability to be here and talk to you guys and talk to fans directly. I'm really excited to be with Boom because they've had so many great successes with like Something is Killing the Children and Grimm. And so I was really happy to bring Marian to the table with more cool Gothic female-led horror.
Love it. Thank you so much for joining us, Tini.
Thank you, Mathias.
All right, we're going to do a quick commercial break, and then we will come back with the rest of PRH and all of Lunar on FOC this Monday, August 25th.
Live from New York. What? Oh, sorry. Live from Cleveland? It's Friday night? Sure, comic books are beautiful, but underneath, there's something more authentic and exciting. The original art. See the pencils, the lines, the shading, as if you were there in the studio watching the artist work. Getting a peek at comics' backstage is easy with the original art experience.
All right, Friday night, guys. Thank you for being here. To be doing anything, the fact that you're here means the world to me.
Nick's pieces are always value-priced with your budget in mind, for the beginning collector to the veteran.
And this is gorgeous. You got Aquaman and Mira.
Join the original art experience with Nick and our friendly crew of regulars, even if it's just to enjoy the art. Fridays at 7. It's all part of the experience. I
always love a good interview with a great creator like that, and it is awesome that we were able to do that here on the EXP. But that's not like the only interview that's really big name that we have coming up, is it, Kyle?
No, in fact, it's a Monday. I actually just said to Monday, but on Monday, Miss Jen will be talking to the legend Joe Jusko and Joe Pruitt about the book of Jusko, which is currently on Kickstarter from Desperado Publishing. As of last look, it's well funded. It's over $50,000. So anything that gets added on at this point is just bonus. So, it's worth checking out. Joe Jusko doesn't do a ton of interviews, so it'd be worth tuning in just for that as well.
Yeah, I'm always a Joe Jusko fan, and that Red Sonja piece you guys used for the promotion. Having just seen the Red Sonja movie, which was amazing. Oh, Joe Jusko art.
Yeah, shout out to Nikki for getting that done, man.
Yeah, I am ecstatic. If you haven't had the chance, I believe it is available for download via streaming services right now. So we're checking.
I don't know that it's out yet, but it will be out soon.
Yeah, I apologize. I think it's next week. I have my dates off always. But let's dive back into things that I do know the dates on, because we're still talking about incredible comics that are on Penguin Random House and finalizing orders this Monday, August 25th. An interesting one I always want to talk about is the weird world of manga. And this one is quite the world. It's Sheeta's Little Big World. Sheeta's Little Big World kind of has aspects of I'm gonna pull the direct line on this. The Borrowers meets Studio Ghibli and classics like Treasure Island. But as our young character who is living in a very small fallen tree trunk all of a sudden goes out into the wider world, and it is much wider than a simple tree trunk. All sorts of crazy adventures, begin. This is just cute and fun, a wonderful book that you can give to all ages that are loving a manga, and Yuki Kamba, I think, just knocks it out of the park. So, fun one to give a look at for those of you looking to dive into the world of manga or that are just already obsessed with it. We have a lot of great... Oh, go ahead.
The current manga market is really interesting and fun. Again, and we kind of talked about this earlier. PRH is making a lot of stuff available to stores that previously were only available to book market. And that includes manga. Because of PRH's reach, more manga is getting licensed to the US, is getting translated, is coming over that previously you had to import or that was harder to get. So it's a really interesting and fascinating time to be into manga. And so be paying attention to the things you can order as you can order them.
Absolutely. Yeah, a lot of fun ones. And it's also just nice to not see every manga be isekai. But
I don't know. I can remember when every manga was like Dragon Ball and One Piece, and that was all you could get.
Yeah. Every young boy that becomes the big world hero fights the villain. The villain's stronger. He has to get stronger. I remember that. So let's talk about an exciting twist on something. I've been promoting the Kaisei era of Godzilla books for a while. We've had Godzilla, the Kaisei ongoing. We've had Escape from Dead Zone, the Kaisei ongoing. But my absolute favorite, I have been waiting since February to talk to everyone about, is Starship Godzilla. It is a crazy sci-fi adventure done in the Godzilla Toho universe. All those classic alien races and stuff from those Japanese Godzilla films finally comes in with a Cowboy Bebop meets Battlestar Galactica meets, a hint of Firefly, Serenity, in there in a giant Mecha Godzilla spaceship. This is such an awesome and unique comic, and the twist in this series is going to catch you so off guard and fully drag you in, kicking and screaming with joy. Starship Godzilla.
I hate to be this guy, but if this is good, it's probably going to push Star Trek down on the list of star-based content.
I'm not gonna lie, it has that risk. And while I have some exciting Star Trek stuff coming up, I'm definitely all for the upcoming Jackson Lansing and Colin Kelly Last Starship. I am excited about the new Strange New Worlds comic. Starship
Oh,
Godzilla.
sure.
Oof.
Absolutely. But again, like it's this idea of I'm not a Star Trek guy. I like those guys. I will read that book, but I love Godzilla.
Yeah. I mean, you got to love Oliver Ono definitely has some Cowboy Bebop vibes on this cover. And I mean, there's some
Absolutely.
great covers. In fact, one of them is going to make it to our top 10 at the end of the show.
It's true.
Yeah. One last one. I know you keep talking about these amazing things that PRH and Lunar are making available to comic shops that aren't always there and weren't always available through the Diamond era. One that we should
Right.
definitely point out is the amazing two-headed chicken.
Right. So Candlewick and Walker Books US they've been around for a minute. Both of these things, but what Candlewick really does is a lot of the all ages translated sort of stuff. So they've done, Kasi and Ish. They've done Incredibly Penelope, and a lot of like the hardcover books that you get for small children, right? The illustrated Itsy Bitsy Spider, things like that. And Candlewick is kind of their U.S. arm that goes into PRH. So, Two-Headed Chicken, Back to the Future is this absolutely crazy Beak to the Future is this absolutely unhinged telling of essentially Back to the Future, but like you have hungry dinosaurs, werewolves, Emily Dickinson, fish with a mustache, all of these kind of crazy things that are part of the Two-Headed Chicken universe. Guys, this is a graphic novel that generally would not have been available to local comic shops because it was designed for the book market. It's one of those books that you would have had to go to a big chain bookstore to get. So now you have it available in your local comic shop as another, again, if you have an all ages section, or if you're somebody who's like me, I'm going shopping for my nieces and nephews. This is a great pickup that now I can order from my local comic shop rather than having to give money to a big chain. Let's be honest.
Well, and then there's also always that mentality of, look, I'm just going into a comic shop, selfish buying like nobody's business. But I feel like it's all justified when I pick up something for my kid, my nephew, my friend's child, or whatever. Because now you're the benevolent hero like in the comics you enjoy, because you're grabbing stuff for other people and getting them into the amazing sequential art addiction that we live.
Right. My friend just had his first niece. And I go, look, man, I know you're a big action figure collector, but now you can buy action figures and say, they're for my niece. And I'll just hold on to them until she's old enough to play with them.
So, again, a lot of great books on FOC this Monday from Penguin Random House. Make sure you go to prhcomics.com. Check them all out. We'll have to have some incredible guests from Penguin Random House in the future to best explain how to use this new website for many of us, so you can see everything and find everything and let your local comic shop know all of the stuff you want, so they can guarantee it is waiting for you when it releases, or even perhaps order it. Lots of fun to be had in this, including great, once again, Marvel Rivals swimsuit variants, the Stitch variants, the Muppet variants. A lot of fun. Way too many books I'm going to be buying multiple copies of because I have a variant addiction. But I think it's time we bounce over to Lunar and see what DC, Image, Oni, and more are doing.
Yeah, there are some really hot books on Lunar this week.
Once again, you can go to lunardistribution.com, scroll down a bit to upcoming FOC. You're going to be passing the previews. So it might be worth clicking on Death to Pachuco and reading Henry Barajas's awesome new noir-style crazy comic series from Image. But eventually make your way down to the August 25th upcoming FOC and take a look. Because if you, for any reason, haven't discovered the absolute line at DC Comics, DC's making it easy. With all of these incredible books coming back to print, we're getting Absolute Batman One Up, back to print. Absolute Wonder Woman, Absolute Superman. All these are getting brand new printings. We're on the 8th printing for Absolute Batman #1. So you can catch up or grab any of the issues you might be missing at a very affordable price, along with, of course, the new issues of Absolute Flash. I love these covers. I love that they are doing the newest printings, the 8th and 7th and 6th respectful printings of Absolute Batman, Absolute Wonder Woman, and Absolute Superman are going to be the Jay Lee covers that were once exclusive to San Diego Comic-Con. So you don't have to be an idiot like me and pay a fortune for the Comic-Con editions. You can just buy them at their incredibly affordable cover price of $5.99 for the new printings. And then, of course, you enter in to the Absolute universe with the best stories. So lots of cool stuff there.
Yeah, that Jay Lee Absolute Batman, like, I don't generally go in for late printings of stuff. Like, I'm not that guy who goes and buys the 3rd printing because there's less of it than the 1st printing. But God, that Jay Lee Virgin Vegan.
Well, and let me tell you, the Comic-Con variant in foil, look, it's shiny, but like this works so much better on a non-foil cover. I am so excited to repurchase this for notably less price on a non-foil version.
Right?
Tell you, like not everything has to be foil, right, Kyle?
Well, right. And the thing is, and you and I, we talked about this a little bit before the show. Foil variants or foil covers are sometimes hard when you go to get signatures, when you go to get creator interaction with them. Hell, a lot of time they don't even look good in a bagging board. You got to take them out of the bagging board to really get the full effect. So, like, I've gone to the point now where there's so many things that are on foil that, like, I'm having creators sign inside the book like it's 1967. Like, I thought we had gotten to a point where creators could sign the outside of a book, but Sharpie don't stick to that foil that good. So now you got to have them sign the inside of the book, and then you go over to CGC, and it's like, see, it's signed inside, and then they got to put the little thing on, and it's just a whole mess. So
and then, if you go and CGC that, you're never going to see that signature again.
Right, exactly. So it's this whole problem. Now, that said, I love like what they're doing with Marian Heretic with spot foil and sporadic use of these. Again, we learned our lesson in the 90s: foil, holograms, lenticulars, gatefolds. When used sparingly and used correctly, they're amazing. When they be out here doing too much, as the young people say, that's when they start to kind of become a pain in the neck, and you don't enjoy them near as much.
Indeed. Well, let's dive back into things.
Hey, you kids, get off my lawn!
Kyle, the oldest young man on this network.
Mm-hmm.
So, diving back into things, we're on the penultimate issue of Batman and Robin Year 1. And, of course, getting everything prepped for Batman Day. We also have Batman #1 getting a facsimile edition in normal and foil options with a little bit of sketch cover to give you that whole vein of the modern day level of variance. Mark Spears is doing trading card variants for the DC characters. Look, he made his name on those trading card monsters. Now we get the incredible DC trading card variants by Mark Spears. Post Malone's Big Rig continues trucking along, excuse that pun, with a number of incredible covers on issue 3, and once again, big boxes that exist.
Hey, I'll be honest. Miss Jen had some on her show the other night and had been able to get them at a price where she could discount them pretty well.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll be honest, I thought about it. I'm not
going to lie. I like the idea of the variants inside them. I'm just, I'm not a big fan of the box. But maybe the box is for you. And if you are the person who is looking for that box, let your local retailer know so they can get you one.
At least it's not a blind bag. Hey-o.
Well, we'll be talking about blind bags over the next few weeks. But we're not there today, thankfully, as we discuss things like Captain Planet and its many beautiful covers, Catwoman and its incredible covers. My God. Let me take a moment to point out, Dan Panosian is just at the top of his game. Can he draw a cover that isn't absolute fire?
Right.
Just everything that man does is just brilliant. Though Gabriel Del Otto also, I've been liking the Gotham themed variants that are all solo shots of various characters on that Gotham background. Lots
Well,
of
like
fun.
I totally ordered the 1 in 25 Kathy Kwan just because
Yeah.
I just love that stylistic look.
Mhm.
You know, and I had to help my local comic shop get there. So luckily the Dan Panosian was open order. So you know, oh, I'm so sad. You know,
But those great
but
things we can always use to point out those ratio variants. Anytime you see that ratio code right there, that means you can only get one of these for every 25 that your store orders. So, not every store is going to get them. And when they do get them, they're often likely to be a little bit more pricey than cover price. So, always reach out to your local comic shop. The sooner the better to see if they're going to get those covers and what they are going to be charging for if you are interested in purchasing one.
yeah, I'm super upset about having to order 5 Dan Panosian C covers to help my local comic shop unlock the 1 in 25. That absolutely breaks my heart.
On that note, Conan
Real quick,
fans, yes,
real quick. Cemetery Kids Run Rabid #2. If you haven't read Cemetery Kids, and you definitely have read Cemetery Kids Run Rabid #1, go back and check those out from Oni Press. I know you can still get the trades and probably get #1 a lot of places. That book is wild, super fun, and you know, unlike a lot of things that are out there right now, it is one of the truly unique books that I see coming out in comics these days.
absolutely. I mean, the idea of playing video games in your sleep, I mean, I would never have any time to play video games in that world, just as I don't have any time to play them in this world.
Well, and you don't
But
have any time to sleep,
yeah,
so
it is still a very fun concept. And it is, well, many things I feel in the world of manga have taken the concept of people getting stuck in a video game. You never see it as a horror theme. And I think that's where Cemetery Kids Run Rabid is particularly amazing because you have that interesting and innovative concept of playing video games while you sleep, thrown in with that trope of getting stuck in the video game, but then having that be a horror genre
yeah.
takes it to a whole other level.
This feels to me like if Rob Zombie directed Ready Player One.
Ooh, man, I'd buy a movie ticket for that.
Yeah, 100%.
You know what, Kyle? I think you just need to become a movie producer at this point because you are on fire with this list of
I'd be
film
much
ideas.
better at direct market sales for a comic company if you're out there. You know,
There it is.
be getting on the
So,
phone.
Conan fans, it's Scourge of the Serpent, the big new Conan crossover. Seeing events in the main Conan title and Savage Sword. This is going to be a great one. There are a lot of wonderful covers. We've already seen foil and glow in the dark on previous FOCs, but now we even get the local comic shop day black and white ink edition that gives you those various glow in the dark and foil options.
There was a different local comic shop day last week. This is an announcement.
Ooh.
These have only just been added to the local comic shop day catalog.
There you go. Fun stuff. All right. Creep Show is back for its 4th volume. Previous volumes have had incredible writers like Tini Howard on there. Now we have Jeremy Adams, Eduardo Riso, Rosie Knight, and Oliver Ono as some of the guests for this awesome new take on the classic horror anthology. Tell you, every publisher is doing a horror anthology now, from Boom to Image, Oni, and more. And they're almost, I mean, no, they are all good. They all have just brilliant talent, all doing these incredible takes. So if you are a fan of horror, I'm sure you are just loving it right now. But
Absolutely. And by the way, on this one, like if you like Creepshow, if you know the history of Creepshow, the Lorenzo Di Felici the A cover is it's the perfect for this book.
yeah, love it. All right, final issue of Dark Honor. We have some incredible new Clover collections with the DC sketchbook. Lot of amazing continuing titles, more EC horror anthology as we were discussing the topic. And Tiny Onion's exquisite corpses continues to push forward with more death and destruction to that small town as billionaires battle it out to determine who will rule America this round. Now, an interesting one I want to bring up is Mad Cave's Flow. As a young girl at a sleepaway camp discovers her first period, her friends take advantage of her lack of information and understanding living with a single dad to haunt her, telling her it's a curse. Now, when you flash forward a number of years later, the women that made fun of our protagonists are now all experiencing an actual curse, and they need to track down what they believe could be the only likely responsible source. This is a interesting, like, Carrie gets her revenge in a longer drawn out I know what you did last summer kind of feel. I'm really curious about this one. Like, initially, my first glance at this was, this is not the book for me, but the concept has me a little intrigued. Yeah, you're just gonna give me the nod on that, Kyle?
I'm gonna need. I haven't read issue 1 yet. I've got it in my list. I have not ordered it yet. I'm not 100% sure. I don't generally go in for like summer camp horror.
Yeah.
Generally not my style of horror. But again, it's the creative team on this. Peter Sevenbergen and Claudia Balboni. I love Claudia's art.
Yeah.
So it's worth it to me to dive in and give it a shot, and then decide if I'm going to order it afterward.
Yeah. So here's one that is very interesting. Available once again. There is the possibility that allocations may occur, but Z2's Genesis 1, co-written by Poppy, who is a very popular pop star and digital creator. This is written by Tini Howard's Magdalena co-author Ryan Caddy and features artwork by the late Ian McGinty, who unfortunately took his life during the pandemic. But this was originally offered back in 2019. I thought this was sold out everywhere. This was impossible to get. And it seems like it is being reoffered at Lunar Distribution. This is the hardcover of Genesis 1 by Poppy. So, interesting one, worth getting your attention on, especially if you're an Ian McGinty fan and you missed out on it before.
Yeah, Poppy was a moment. If you guys don't know Poppy, like, that is a rabbit hole you could lose a week on. And so this book, I remember when this came out and people asked me about this, and I was going, I don't have time to lose my life to Poppy, but man, that book was good. Do you remember, Mathias? Do you remember who published it, or was it just an independent kind of?
Z2. It was Z2.
Oh yeah, Z2. You're right. Okay.
So here's a fun one I really, really like. I am a massive fan of samurai stories, and it is interesting that I Hate Fairyland 44 is going to take that, as Gertrude, our protagonist, apparently laid waste to an entire land of shroomerai. Yes, mushroom samurai, except for one. And now we get a bit of a Kill Bill style vibe as this mushroom samurai girl comes for revenge. Now, this is awesome because I love that this cover has such a Usagi Yojimbo vibe to it. And we'll talk a little bit more about this incredible Stan Sakai variant later in the top 10. But Scotty Young does, samurai revenge story, a la Kill Bill. I'm in. A lot of great covers on Invincible Battle Beast, one of the highest selling, Image titles right now. A lot of great continuing titles there that are all amazing. Wonderful fun. Nightwing, I need to point out, introduces a brand new character, perhaps a sidekick to Nightwing. You'll have to grab issue 130 of Dan Waters' awesome storylines going on in Nightwing to grab this. Great new way to dive in. I've been seeing a lot of articles and attention on this issue on various comic news websites. So this one will get a lot of attention, and hopefully you get a pre-order in on it. And then, of course, always just some of the most amazing covers of comics on Nightwing right now. I love the various play with the trade dress on both the Jorge Fornes and the Ethan Young covers. Kind of reminds me of a bit of a Will Eisner tone. Now, this is an interesting one also. Simon Kudranski, an incredible Polish author, is bringing us No Man's Land, which talks about the brief period of time each year that ice bridges over the Bering Strait, connecting Russia to America. And it goes back to 1963, as we're starting, we're in the Cold War, and relationship between the Soviet Union and the United States of America are not great. So when you add in that a dead body is found in the Bering Strait, and KGB has to work together with FBI to solve this murder before it ignites what could be World War III. This is just a crazy concept that has all of my attention. Simon Kudranski is a brilliant writer and author. If you didn't read Something Epic or Blood Commandment, it was definitely worth it. And I love that when he did Something Epic, like every issue had like a million movie homages that he drew himself, and he's doing it again. There, we have Seven, we have Hunt for Red October, we have Whiteout, the classic comic by Greg Rucka that also got a film. Just Simon, knows how to draw, and he's very talented on it, and clearly can give you a hook of a concept storyline. Are you talking, Kyle? Because you're on mute if you are. Nope. Kyle's getting there. He's almost there. But yeah, No Man's Land definitely has my intrigue, especially for just a 4-issue miniseries.
Okay. Am I back? I'm back. Okay.
Yes, you're back.
So you'll see on these that they say One Man Art Comics. This is Simon Kudranski's imprint at Image. This is launching his Image imprint.
Oh, there we go. Here's the best way of it right there. One Man Art Comics. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Although
I had to double check, I thought that was the case, but it's him launching his flag over at Image. Yeah.
Although for One Man Art, he did do one cover that combined a little bit. I love this cover featuring artwork by Brian Michael Bendis. He's, it's been a long time since we saw Brian Michael Bendis artwork, almost 30 years, but he's done a handful of covers recently. He did What's the Furthest Place from Here, and I think a few others. And I love the idea of getting Bendis covers. So everyone forgets the man, not just a talented writer, also a bit of an artist. Pin-Up Apocalypse, always great. Final issue, wrapping up the series. Seasons. Lots of fun books. A pile of great Spawn in the way of Bloodletter and Curse of Shirley Johnson. I am going to be really, really dropping a mic here when I say those are my 2 favorite Spawn titles right now. In a sea of great Spawn titles, mind you, I'm not knocking any Spawn title, but Bloodletter and Curse of Shirley Johnson are my absolute favorite of the many great Spawn titles coming out. Then so many awesome books. I know that, Kyle, you're going to contradict me. I love these pumpkin spicy covers. I love the sexy, spicy, October-themed variants. This John Boy Myers one was late to be there, but I just imagine Nightwing and Starfire. I'm always a Dick Grayson, Barbara Gordon guy, but I like the idea of them getting together for a nice little pumpkin spice latte and talking about their old, relationship.
See, that's the thing. I don't mind the idea of doing a fall line of variants. I don't even mind doing pumpkin spice variants, but pumpkin spicy sounds dumb. And some of these variants are like, really, DC? That's what you choose to do cheesecake on? Like, and again, no judgment, because some of these variants are very cool looking, or very good art. The art's incredible, but like, bro, really?
Oh, we'll have so much fun together in the top 10 for this week. Yeah, lots of great books, once again. Speaking of which, in $10 trades, we talked about the Rick and Morty one that will be FOCing on the 15th of September that Tini has some work in. That'll be coming out October 8th. Here is a classic one of the most legendary tales of the 80s, V for Vendetta is getting a $10 trade paperback. There is no reason not to read or own this book as a $10 trade paperback. Classic piece. Alan Moore, David Lloyd. I love David Lloyd to death. One of just the nicest guys in comics. Just
V for Vendetta, one of the most quintessential works of comic art, right? Like one of the most important and influential works of comic art. So you can't really dismiss a $10 copy. And again, it's that digest size. It's that small, compact version. So my copy of V for Vendetta is like 2.5 inches thick and is huge and takes up a ton of room on my shelf. It's hard to read.
Yeah.
This is a much easier version to carry around and read and take with you on a plane or a train or to work when when you're trying to slack off. I'm just saying.
All right. Vampirella Armageddon continues on with some beautiful, beautiful covers of our Draculon Vampiress. I can't believe Walking Dead is already at issue 121 in the deluxe editions. We're 2/3 of the way through. 2/3 of the way through in color. So again, a huge shout out to Dave McCaig recoloring this entire series. And then a lot of great covers on there. Here is a unique one. Going back 33 years, haunting for me to remember, the Wild West Cowboys of Moo Mesa. This was the cheapest bit of Western cartoon I can imagine, with a great toy line, Nacelle now currently owns. Oni is bringing another Nacelle verse piece, one I never thought I'd want, but I'm totally going to pick up in some really, guilty, love. Cowboys of Moo Mesa. Like, it's just cheesy. It is cheesy Western to a degree that these cows probably made their own cheese on it. Just had anthropomorphic, punny Western, with characters like Calamity Kate and Moo Montana. But, we don't get enough Western comics. We do not get cowboy comics. So I'm in.
Well, it's funny. My niece is named after the Dakota Dude. So
Really?
this is a big, she's named Dakota for Dakota Dude. So this is going to be a big book in my circle. Shout out to Seth the Moose and his wife Nick for naming their kid after an anthropomorphized cow from a comic book.
I love Seth, so I'm not trying to say anything negative, especially of his child, but that would definitely be the, no, I'm named after the state. Not
I think that's what they say, but let's be real. I know, they know.
I love it. And there's some ridiculously great covers on the. Is it sad that I am more excited for the Wild West Cowboys of Moo Mesa than Captain Planet or Biker Mice from Mars or even Space Ghost? It's just so ridiculous.
Nope, not at all. And it's not at all shocking for anybody who watches this show regular.
Yeah.
That this would be both of our jams, because anthropomorphized talking animals and the 90s quintessentially.
Yeah. Cowboys. All right, let's lighten things back up. Witchblade starting its new storyline with issue number 14 after the epic events of the last issue. We are going into a post-darkness tale with darkness on the way of a new ongoing series for Jackie Estacado. I am loving this new Witchblade design. I think this is awesome. I think Marguerite is doing a great job on this series. The only thing I wish is that we still had the classic lore in there. But if we're going to relaunch Witchblade, this is great. Then we end it all on the big one. Wonder Woman 25, big issue.
Actually, can we go back one book?
We're going to go back one book before we enter the big one.
Wizard's Guide to Magical Experiments. Matthias, you have a young one. I have many young nieces and nephews. This is a book that introduces kids to the real-life magic of chemistry. by treating them like they're wizards, doing magic by doing chemistry. I think this is a great way to introduce kids to STEM and STEAM education through comic books and through hands-on experiments. They're age appropriate for all ages of kids. So there's a lot here, but like it's things like making an exothermic reaction, make endothermic ice cream, bend water, all of these things that are actually chemistry, but put to magic and science. So if you have a kid who likes Harry Potter or any of those kind of things, this is a great way to get them into doing some real life science in your kitchen.
And again, one of those perfect examples of things your comic shop might not normally have stocked, might not normally have had access to, that you now know they do have access to. So you can very politely go to your local comic shop and say, hey, you guys might not normally carry the Wizard's Guide to Magical Experiments, but it is on FOC this week from Lunar. Is there any possibility you could pick up a copy for me? Always fun stuff. But now, I've been building it up. I want to talk about this. Wonder Woman 25. Tom King, who is an Eisner Award-winning writer, has a big one for us as he introduces a new villain in the Matriarch. I mean, every issue across the board, great. Very subtly on this A cover, you can see the Matriarch hidden in there in that Greco vase, artwork style piece. I'm sure there's an actual definition for how that artwork is called, but my Greek history was a bit more Mediterranean naval warfare than art. But absolutely amazing piece, oversized issue. Everything about this is going to be awesome. Sam Pierre, Fornes on interior artwork with Tom King. We have young baby Trinity in this issue as well. It's going to be a fun one. And we also get Etta Candy for those of you who love that Wonder Woman character. A lot of great covers there from David Nakayama, Mark Spears, Omer, who I think has been doing some of the best ones, and some stuff we'll see momentarily as we enter the top 10. But I want to remind everyone, these are your books that you need to let your local comic shop know you want before Monday, August 25th. The sooner you let your local comic shop know, the better. I think it's time we cut away to the top 10. So let's start it off with the honorable mention on this week. The absolute various printings. There are a ton there. They are all beautiful because these are all amazing books. I mean, Scott Snyder, Jason Aaron, Kelly Thompson writing some amazing stuff. Beautiful interior artwork, beautiful covers, new printings at an affordable price. So you're not paying those high aftermarket values for this awesome series. Let your local shop know what absolute books you're missing. Let them know that you want to grab these, the quantities and the covers you want to order, so they can get you caught up on the absolute universe. Then we get to the top 10. First one is going to be Star Wars Insider 234, and you might be like, Mathias, why is the Star Wars Insider magazine in here? Well, there's a couple of reasons. First off, I think that Star Wars Insider is always a great magazine, and it particularly is awesome for some of the original content in there. Whether it's interviews and other stuff, this is a very Darth Vader-driven issue that we'll be releasing in October. But it also has an original new prose story set in Revenge of the Sith that I can say, no matter what your thoughts are on the prequels or the sequels, the prose that have been attached to it fixes everything, and I'm excited for new content set in Revenge of the Sith. But the glow-in-the-dark skeleton versions of Darth Vader and the Stormtrooper, I think, is what really makes this. Because every now and then you'll see the aftermarket on these Star Wars Insider issues blow up, and this is one I think that has high potential for it.
And, this is one of those books that we were questionable about the future of with the Diamond Michigas. Were we going to be able to get it? Who was going to distribute it? All of that kind of stuff. So the fact that it's back and that they're coming back this hard is always a good sign.
Yes. All right. Number 9. This is where me and Kyle will differ. I'm loving... Oh, look at that. He just skipped over it.
No, my computer jumped.
Spices. I am loving the pumpkin spicy covers. And Kevin Wada will always draw some of the sexiest men in comics. But look at that pumpkin butt on Dick Grayson. Nightwing cover D of issue 130, the pumpkin spicy pumpkin butt of Dick Grayson. Sure, this is where Kyle will throw some commentary.
This is just one of those that I'm not sure that this really does what you're trying to do here, DC. I'm not sure that this 100% gets you what you're going for. But again, listen, if you like Dick Grayson and you like pumpkins, or you're a white woman, or what have you, this is for you. It ain't for me.
All right. Well, I like to think everyone loves Dick. So I am looking forward to seeing what my store's customers are going to request on the Nightwing 130 cover. I expect this one to be popular.
Second best Robin.
Whoa, that's a whole other show. We'll come back to that comment. All right, guys. No Man's Land, number 1, the Simon Kudransk cover, doing the Hunt for Red October. I love that you're seeing the ice bridge of the Bering Strait there between the two. What are the names of those two islands in the Bering Strait that are
the Aleutian Islands?
There it is. Yeah, I like that little piece there. It has everything that gives that Hunt for Red October movie poster feel. Awesome piece, and I'm excited to read this book. Next up, I Hate Fairyland 44. This is a ratio variant, so not every store is going to get it. So reach out to your local comic shop to see if they're going to get the 1 in 10 variant. It's marked as just being Stan Sakai, but I want to point out that signature, just Sakai, means it's not just Stan Sakai. It is Julie and Stan Sakai on art with Emi Fuji, Julie's daughter, doing the coloring. So beautiful piece there. Definitely gets the vibe of Gert from I Hate Fairyland, while still getting that Sakai combo. Everything about it is amazing, and the perfect cover to have on the Samurai issue of I Hate Fairyland.
Yeah, I said to you before the show, I would kill to have this original piece of art. Obviously, I'll never be able to afford it, but still.
Yeah, I mean, and it was great working with Scotty Young when he did the cover for Usagi Yojimbo. So this is great to see the flavor return. Wonder Woman 25, the spicy pumpkin one. Even this one you have to give. Look at how amazing Yasmin Putri's cover is there.
Yeah, that one. That's the one I like.
Yeah.
It's not even necessarily that it's cheesecakey. It's that this feels Halloweeny. It feels fall. It feels like what I think about for the season, as opposed to, okay, let's go to a pumpkin patch and buy some vegetables.
Yeah, no, I mean, I do love it. Actually, no, hold on that. Like, you have the jack-o'-lanterns, you have the Wonder Woman Halloween costume of the witch, keeping with our witch theme of today's show. But my favorite part is the subtlety of the classic Wonder Woman villain, Cheetah. You have a cute little baby cheetah sitting there ripping at the leash. Like, just everything about that's fun. All right.
Ready?
We're in the top 5 now. Here we go. Endeavor, get me off screen. Look at that beautiful, beautiful cover by Mark Lamming. You have the HMS Endeavor struggling in the waters, the map of, oh my God, what is that? The South Pacific Ocean, or I think that's the Southwestern Pacific Ocean, right around Australia, New Zealand, and everything you're seeing the maps of. And somebody's going to point out I'm going to be way off. It's actually going to be Falkland or something in a little bit, but really great cover, haunting. It gives you the vibe of the book. Like, it is amazing.
Yeah, and remember, guys, this book, your shop may have FOC'd this last week because it was on FOC last week, but it's being re-FOC'd because of some, again, web coding sort of things that went awry. So if you didn't get a chance to FOC it last week, go back in and have them change it for this week.
Yeah. All right. Kill All Immortals 2. Tula Lote's incredible cover. It's got the Kill Bill feel to it, which is fitting. Just amazing. I love the World Tree, Yggdrasil tattoo there, the blood on the axe, the little blood drop. Everything about this, amazing. Just amazing on a book that I know is going to be incredible.
If you had to ask me who the hottest cover artists are right now, it would be Dan Panosian and Tula Lote.
Oh, yeah. Tula is just nailing
just don't miss.
And then doing another homage, we're getting a series of homages. We've had Hunt for Red October, Kill Bill, and now Star Wars with this incredible Starship Godzilla variant by Vitor Kafagi. Again, just amazing cover on an amazing book. The perfect combination that means it is going to be hot. It is going to sell out. Whether it skyrockets the aftermarket values, I don't know, but I know that you're going to want to let your local comic shop know you want this cover so you can guarantee you can read this amazing tale. You have that beautiful book. Awesome. All the way around, awesome. Now, here's a first. This is the first time one book has had 2 entries in our top 10. But Wonder Woman 25 had to have another one because, well, we can see the matriarch subtly on the A cover. This is the big first cover reveal on that first appearance of the matriarch. Full form, done by Daniel Sampier, who's doing the interiors with the matriarch. Has her name on the title, bigger than the protagonist's actual title of Wonder Woman. Awesome design work. I love the negative space. Everything about this, amazing. It's why it gets to be number 2. But number 1, to quote Tini on this, Our Lady of Kicking Ass, Marian Heretic. I really want to stress this. This book is amazing. It will hook you. It will drag you in. It is a universe builder in the first issue where I want to know about every character. Even the characters not named in the first issue, I love their costumes, designs, and I want to learn more. I want to learn about all the weapons and items in this. This is going to be the next Something is Killing the Children. And if I could send you back in time about roughly a decade to go get Something is Killing the Children #1, you would do that in a heartbeat. It's a several $100 book now. It has had over 10 printings. It had countless amazing covers. It had a Jenny Frison cover. This is going to be the next Something is Killing the Children. I think this is absolutely a brilliant tale. It is mature. It is dark. It is fun. What was the T-shirt quote again, Kyle?
As I imagine, Greg is somewhere like on T-Fury or something getting this ready. Blood, guts, boobs, and nuns.
There it is. Blood, Guts, Boobs, and Nuns. Amazing, amazing book. And I mean, this cover is definitely #1, but there's a ton of great covers. So let your local comic shop know which cover you want. Definitely let them know you want this book because this book is going to be big. And no matter, and just like Something is Killing the Children, I ordered hundreds of copies of Something is Killing the Children #1 for my store, and it was not enough because I don't have a single copy left of any of the first 10 printings of that book. No matter how big your store orders, I don't think it'll be enough. So make sure you're one of the copies your store orders, that you have a copy set aside waiting for you. Get Marian Heretic on order with your local comic shop. Let them know what covers you want. The Jenny Frison cover, definitely, if not all of them. I know I'm personally going to go insane and say, I need every cover. This book is amazing. So,
Greg, on the Blood, Guts, Boobs, and Nuns shirt, just stick this on the back because it features all of them.
Yes, there you go. Oh, man, if we could do that. Wow, I like it. Greg already pricing the shirts. I love it. You know, put me down for one, Greg. All right, so Marian Heretic. Huge thanks to Tini Howard for coming on the show. I cannot stress enough. That's the big walkaway one, though every one of these ones that were in the top 10, Wonder Woman 25, Starship Godzilla #1, Kill All Immortals, Endeavor, I Hate Fairyland, No Man's Land. This is an insane week of FOCs that the next month or two are going to be just bombarding my pull list, and I'm going to love it. I'm going to love it. So, Kyle, we've got a lot coming up this weekend and next week.
Yeah, I mean, and like I'm looking at my calendar going, well, we have next week where we've got to figure out who our guest is for this show next week. But the week after that, we know who our guest is.
Ooh,
and then we have a week off. And then the week after that, we know who our guest is. And I know that because the person who made it happen is texting me right now, reminding me.
Yes, and I can also tell you, you don't know it yet, but I have a pretty awesome guest lined up for October, for the first week of October, FOC.
So, guys, stick around. We've got all kinds of great shows here on The Experience the rest of today. Nick will be here with the original art show. Guys, he has an Animaniacs page.
He has a Red Sonja cover, I think I saw.
I don't care about the Red Sonja cover. I want the Animaniacs page, but I can't afford it. Then Nancy will be back with her normal great vintage show. Then we are taking a weekend off. Guarantee you no content this weekend. But coming next week on Monday at 5 o'clock, Joe Jesko and Joe Pruitt will be joining Miss Jen for Talking Shop to talk about the Book of Jesko. Rex will be back with Comic Collectibles. Jay and I will be back with Second Shift Lunch. And then Bronze Age Nerd and Bigby McFly will be doing Best Coast Comics Tuesday. We'll have a minute to skim it with Miss Jen. Welcome to Wonderland with Rich and AJ, and then kicking it with Henri. Wednesday, you'll have Comic Collectibles with Rex. And then Jay and I will be back for Kyle and Jay's Q&A, where my hope is that we're talking about something other than Diamond Legal Junk. And then, on Tuesday at 2 p.m., Comic Industry Insiders Live has a massive announcement.
Interesting.
And one of our guests will be the guy from Massive, whose name I can't remember because I am having a blank right now. But anyway, so Kyle and Jay's Q&A Wednesday night. Thursday, what's in the box? There will be something different for Geek Chat. I got to figure that one out. And then we will have Sketch Up with Mel and Mog. And then Matthias and I will be back here next Friday with more FOC goodness.
Yeah, lots of fun there. So thank you guys all for watching. Make sure you reach out. Go take a look at prhcomics.com, lunardistribution.com. Look at all of the incredible books. Write your list because it's a list this week. And let your local comic shop know what you want to order. The sooner, the better. Thank you guys for watching.
See you next time.